I'm almost embarrassed to talk about it because I am liking it. I love it. I really, really love this perfume. I in principle am opposed to liking this perfume. This is not my thing at all. Welcome back. Today we are just doing a little bit of perfume chit chat, just talking about some things that I've been sampling lately, some things I liked, some things I didn't like, and then there's also a couple here that are completely new to me that I haven't sampled yet. So today will be my first impression of those. I am going to do my very best today to keep this brief. I have filmed a couple of videos recently that are long. They're quite chatty and I am struggling to edit them. So that's why they have not been uploaded yet, which is why I thought today I might just rip through these samples, give you my impressions, in some case first impressions. Yeah, it's just perfume chat. That's it. That's all I can offer up today. All right, so let's start with two fragrances from a brand that I only recently got to test. And I think in the last video that I uploaded, I had a perfume from this house. It's called House of Brandt. And I think in that video, I did mention that I was keen to try some more from this house. I did manage to track down someone local who had some bottles and I was able to get some samples off them, which is really good. The first one I'll talk about, which is probably the one I've sampled the most out of the two, is called London Fog. This one has received a lot of attention online and I can understand why. I think the inspiration for this perfume is like a lavender Earl Grey or a lavender tea or a lavender latte. And I will say straight up, if you're not a fan of lavender, you probably will not enjoy this one. The lavender is very prominent in the opening. And the first time I wore it, I loved it. I just thought, wow, this is amazing. I think I want to get a full bottle of this. I'm really enjoying this. Tentatively went on to a wish list to maybe get a bigger decant of it. And it is indeed very lovely. The opening is quite aromatic and the lavender is quite crisp in that opening. And then as it dries down, it starts to soften, a little bit more sweetness starts to come through, and you get this really soft, almost musky lavender vanilla type of perfume. I do get some elements of tea in here, but I wouldn't necessarily say that the tea is front and center in this fragrance. Indeed, in the base, I find it to be more leaning on the vanillic woody end of the spectrum, with that lavender sitting either alongside or slightly behind the vanilla. And it's quite soft and powdery in the base to me. It is meant to be lactonic as well, apparently, and there is a slight lactonic kind of nature in there, but it feels more like a milky musk rather than, you know, a milky gourmand, for instance. It's not so milky that if you don't like lactonic scents, you probably won't like it. I feel like it's more, for me, more of a muskiness that has a bit of a creaminess to it rather than it being a milky note per se. Anyway, it's quite lovely. I'm really enjoying it. I do enjoy the dry down of it. I find it to be very comforting and very sort of a cozy, quiet perfume, which I guess aligns with the inspiration, because usually if you're sitting down to a cup of tea, if you're into the ritual of having tea, then yeah, being quiet and contemplative is probably what you're going for. I will say though that in the subsequent times that I sampled it, I've enjoyed the opening less and less. I find what I got at first in that first wearing, which was very bright, kind of citrusy, aromatic opening, now seems to come across to me as almost like a medicinal lavender. And I'm trying to find a way to explain that without it sounding too negative, but it is reminiscent of, I want to say something like, it has a bit of a bug spray vibe, but it's not that bad. It's more like when you go into nature and the plants that are around you, you might be surrounded by some herbal plants that naturally are bug repellent or insect repellent type plants. So your citronellas, lavender, you know, I don't know what other green sort of herbs and things like that that you might get exposed to in nature. The aroma of that coming up and hitting you is what I'm kind of getting. And so it doesn't smell like synthetic bug spray, but it has this sort of natural insect repellent type feel to it in the opening, which I'm not sure is what they're going for, but that's just what I've noticed in my more subsequent wearings of this perfume. Again, I love the dry down of it. I do feel like I've smelled, you know, a profile like this before. I can't quite pinpoint exactly which perfume or which fragrance is similar to me, but it is a lovely perfume and it's worth trying if you enjoy lavender and if you enjoy the idea of a lavender tea fragrance. But for me personally, I think that opening is probably enough for me to go, I don't need to upgrade to a full bottle, but I have really enjoyed wearing this sample and I still have some left, so I will continue to wear this sample and I'll finish it. But I'm not sure that I need to upgrade to a full bottle, but it is definitely worthy of trying, in my opinion, if you enjoy lavender. The next one I have here is Bois de Santal, also by the House of Brandt. And this one I categorically, straight up, am not a fan of. It's got that sort of sharp, almost sour sandalwood aspect to it that I don't enjoy, that reminds me of Santal 33. It doesn't smell exactly like Santal 33, but it's similar enough that my mind immediately goes there. It has sandalwood in the top, middle and base. It's got things like cardamom in there and cashmere wood. It's, I don't think it's that new as a scent profile, and it isn't exciting me at all. I don't really have much more to say about it. As I said, it doesn't smell exactly like Santal 33. They're definitely linked in terms of scent profile. I would say this one is a bit softer. It's not as sharp, it's not as sour, it's not as loud as Santal 33. Probably not as spicy as Santal 33 either, although there is cardamom in here, as I mentioned. But yeah, like it's okay. It's not bad. It doesn't excite me, and I have no intention of trying to finish this sample. And somebody wants to go outside. All right, the next one is one that I legitimately loved from first sniff. I did get to try this one at Essence in Milan. And I will say that whilst I definitely liked it there, it was really hard to know how much I really liked it, because when you're just spraying it in a room where a bazillion other perfumes are being sprayed hundreds of times per second, it's hard to know what you're really smelling. So after we got back from Essence, a friend of mine purchased this perfume and she sent me a sample of it very generously, and I have been absolutely in love with this perfume. I got a few decent wears out of it, and then I've slowed right down because I've been eking it out. It is a very special perfume. It is not an inexpensive perfume though, so hence why I've slowed down on the wearing of it, because I want to keep a little to hold on to until such time that I'm prepared to make a purchase or seriously consider making a purchase, and then I can maybe come back to it and just double check right before I make the purchase, if that's what I really want to do. So this is Eshal by Neela Vermeire. It's the latest release from this house. It is based around the note of tuberose. Of course, there was a high likelihood that I would enjoy this one, given how much I enjoy perfume. So I was just looking at the ceiling then because I thought I saw a bug on the ceiling, but I didn't. I think for this perfume, if you're not a fan of green scents, then this also probably won't be for you, or at least proceed with caution. It has this very bright green opening, and now the dog wants to come back inside. One moment, please. So the opening of this is very fresh and green. It's kind of citrusy as well, and definitely bitter. And I'm not sure if the bitterness is coming from citruses or if it's coming from the petitgrain, because there is a lot of petitgrain in here, and I find the petitgrain to be quite dominant in the perfume. The tuberose itself is quite green in nature, although perhaps that's just emphasized by being paired with sort of green notes like petitgrain. There's definitely a woodiness to this perfume as well, and as it starts to dry down, it gets this really lovely, almost earthy undertone, but the earthiness isn't too much. It doesn't take over. It's still very much a green floral perfume, but it just has enough earthiness to it to make it feel very natural. There is a depth in here that feels very light in tone. I would argue maybe something resinous, but not dark and spicy resinous. Although there is an element of spice in here as well, and there's an element of dryness and almost pepperiness really, but it's dry, it's not damp. It doesn't feel damp and dank like you might expect if somebody described something as being an earthy floral. There is something that's almost smoky in the background as well, and I'd be really interested to see if I was to spray it as a full wear out of a bottle, if that would come through a lot more. But at the same time, there is still this beautiful, bright freshness about it, and it's so uplifting, and it's just beautiful. I love it. I really, really love this perfume. It is an extrait de parfum, so it's not inexpensive, let's just say that. But I think I'm gonna have to get a full bottle of this at some point. It's just absolutely beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. So that was Eshal by Neela Vermeire. The next one is one that I have been on the fence about, and I've got a bunch of samples of this now. I've been hoarding samples of it so that I can continue to wear it and make up my mind. This is Existence by Amouage, and the video that I just filmed last week that I haven't uploaded yet, I do talk about this perfume in that video, and I think I said in that video that, you know, it's beautiful, but there's something kind of holding me back from buying a full bottle. Well, the more I wear it, the more I kind of want the full bottle, which, in all honesty, I should know myself by now and know that that's always a risk. If I keep sampling something that I was on the fence about to start with, it's inevitable that I'm probably going to want it at some point. So this again is quite a green leaning perfume. It has a lot of Lily of the Valley, which is a made up accord because you can't actually extract the scent of Lily of the Valley in real life. And it has this really wonderful freshness about it. There's a sweetness in there too, but it's not too much. But what I find really, really interesting about this one is that it starts in that beautiful, bright, fresh, soft floral opening. That's how I would describe the opening. And it's almost transparent and translucent, you know, it's that really fresh springtime floral. But instead of it staying that fresh floral and then fading into like a musky, woody kind of base, this develops a really quite bold, green resinous kind of base to it, and that Lily of the Valley accord I think still stays with it the whole way through. There's aldehydes in here as well, and the aldehydes have this denseness to them that kind of flattens the brightness almost, and it becomes, it's almost like the aldehydes become paired with the resins in the base to really help flatten the brightness of those floral notes, but you're still getting the floral notes, but they're just, the sparkle is taken off, the edge is taken off them just a little bit. And it's really, really interesting. It lasts all day long, and it's a very pleasant smell. It's hard to describe. It's strong, but if you don't overspray it, you can really get a great balance where you can just wear it to work, and it's just, people can kind of smell you and you smell clean and you smell fresh, but you also smell intriguingly like resinous and woody, but it's not it doesn't have to be overpowering. If you sprayed a lot, I reckon it would be a little bit overpowering, because I feel like this perfume projects a little bit more than other perfumes I've been trying recently. But I'm really quite taken with it. And I really wish I wasn't, because as much as I love Amouage, I don't really want to be forking out another $600 for an Amouage perfume. Anyway, I'll sit on the samples for a bit, but this is one that I think might be creeping onto my wish list. Anyway, so that's Existence by Amouage. The next one is one from Atelier Materi. I don't think it's a new one. It's called Neroli Hasbaya. This did not smell how I was expecting it to smell in the end. It's a very sweet orange blossom. It reminds me a lot of things like Love Don't Be Shy, which is a really lazy description, but there is definitely that kind of bent to the orange blossom in here. It's very sweet, but I would say this isn't as sweet as Love Don't Be Shy, but it's also has a bit more depth to it. Because I've been really loving Narcisse Taiji from this brand, I kind of expected this to be more of a true sort of neroli that is more green leaning. But to me, this smells more like orange blossom, and it's quite spicy. And so you spray it on and immediately you get this sweet neroli / orange blossom element, and you think it's just going to stay like that, kind of light and sweet and fluffy, almost marshmallowy, more vanillic than marshmallowy, I think. But then it starts to develop some spiciness to it, and the spices combined with that sweetness give it a, you know, almost a biscuity, gourmand, baked good type of aspect. And it's kind of weird. I don't know. This is not something that I would want to wear myself. It has this nuttiness about it, compared with like a syrupy sweetness that kind of catches in my throat a little bit. And it's quite powerful. I can see that some people will really, really love this one, but others will just find it to be too much. Yeah, anyway, I'm not sold on this one. I did put it on skin once about, I'd say a couple of weeks ago now, and I can't really remember, to be honest, how it dried down on my skin. But I do think from memory, the sort of nutty gourmand elements of this did settle a little bit, but it's still, yeah, it's a no from me. I am not the demographic for this perfume, despite the name. I thought it was going to be promising given it had neroli in the name, and I absolutely adore Narcisse Taiji from this brand, but yeah, that's a no from me. The next one is one that I'm almost embarrassed to talk about, actually. Well, I'm almost embarrassed to talk about it because I am liking it. And I in principle am opposed to liking this perfume. But this is Eladaria by Creed. I do not own, nor have I ever owned, a Creed perfume. And in fact, a lot of the Creed, I did try a lot of Creed perfumes. I think back in 2020, I did a video on it. I didn't really like any of them, and I had so many negative comments on that video. I think I deleted some too, because some people were just really ripping into me about, you know, not knowing anything about perfumery and how amazing Creed perfumes were, and I didn't know anything. And, you know, basically they were just ripping me to shreds because I'd obviously said that I didn't like a perfume that they obviously adored. Obviously, in recent times, the true history about the Creed brand has emerged, and amazingly they are still in favour with a lot of people, which is totally fine. I guess in my mind, I'm even more justified by not wanting to like or own any Creed perfumes, but I cannot deny that this is one that I do enjoy, and there are a couple from the line that has the fancy bottles, the gold, you know, with the gold flowers and is it flowers? But you know, the fancy tall bottles that are really, really expensive. My main issue with Creed these days is that now that it's all in the open about their crappy marketing and the history that they used to serve as kings and queens and all the rest of that BS is absolutely, completely false. But my main issue with Creed is they're just quite overpriced for what they are. And I just have never had a desire to want to own any of them for that reason. I just didn't love them enough. It's not that they were bad perfumes, it's just that I just didn't love them enough to justify the price tag. This one, I still don't know if I can justify the price tag, but it's one of these ones that I tried it in store one day. One of the sales assistants in our local perfumery really loved this perfume. So I gave her the benefit of the doubt and I tried it. And at first I was kind of like, no, that's sort of too sweet and, you know, not really my thing. But I put it on skin, I left the store, and a couple of hours later I was going, gosh, I smell good. And I realized it was this. So I've since been back, and every time I go in there, she very generously gives me a sample of this to try again. Usually I'm purchasing something else, so it's okay. She's not just giving me a sample for nothing. But it's been a couple of months now, and I'm still kind of working my way through samples. And I think if it had been any other brand, if it had been a Maison or if it had been an Amouage or an Amouage, I probably would have made the purchase by now, to be honest. I do enjoy this perfume. I do find the opening a little bit too sweet, but I don't find it unpleasant. It's just, I would say that the opening of this perfume is less me. It's not really my style. And it's not the type of perfume I would typically lean towards. But there's just something about this perfume that I'm really, really enjoying, and I find it quite addictive when I'm wearing it. I think I smell really good when I'm wearing it. So in principle, I have not purchased a full bottle, but at the same time, I am enjoying this perfume. So what does it smell like? All right, so that was a very long rant of me trying to justify, not only to you, but to myself, my own preferences. I mean, you either like something or you don't, right? And you can't help it if you like something or not. But it's like I've got this little war going on in my brain of, yes, I like it, but you're not allowed to buy it and you're not allowed to own it because it's a Creed perfume, and I'm morally opposed to Creed perfumes. It's so silly. And like, is there even a reason to be morally opposed to Creed perfumes? I mean, there's probably loads of perfume brands who do underhanded things, and yet I probably still love their perfumes and have talked about them. I don't know. I mean, can you really ever know what's going on behind the scenes? Okay, so this is a very pink smelling perfume, which is probably another reason why I sort of go, it's not really my thing. It's got a sweet citrusy opening. There's mandarin in the top, I think. It's a little bit peppery, but not too peppery. It's just very bright opening and very pink, as you would imagine given the bottle that it's in. And it's got a very pink floral mid. You've got rose and peony. There is also lily of the valley in here. And just generally, it has all of these floral accords, but they're very fresh and light and bright and slightly green. I mean, even though I say it smells pink, which it does, because it's got all these pink florals, but there is a bit of a green element. And it's not green as in a green perfume, but it's just an element, I think, that adds to that freshness that you would normally get if you're smelling flowers in a vase. You know, you would smell the green aspects as well as the scent of the florals themselves. So I think that's just why I like it. I do get a bunch of flowers vibe from this perfume, and it smells nice. I don't know if there's even anything in particular that I could pick out and say, this is the thing, this is the bit that wows me. And I don't even know if I am wowed by it. It's just, I feel like this would be a really great signature scent for a lot of people. It wears well, it's fresh and clean, it's floral, and there's a little bit of sweetness there. It is definitely more sweet in the opening, but then as it dries down, it settles and it just becomes this lovely, fresh, musky, floral bouquet, and it's just really pleasant. I'm obviously still in my soft, fresh floral era. And even though we're coming into winter, I'm still lusting after springtime perfumes. So for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, if you haven't tried Eladaria yet and you do like a floral bouquet in your perfume, then it might be worth a try. Is it worth the money that Creed want for it? Arguably no. In fact, definitely, probably no. But value is in the eye, or in this case, the nose of the beholder, right? So if you're gonna wear it, it's probably worth it. If you're not, if it's just gonna be something that you wear a couple of times and stick on your shelf, then it probably isn't going to be worth it. And I think ultimately that's where I settle for myself, just knowing how many perfumes I have in my wardrobe, knowing the things that I tend to gravitate towards on a daily basis. I would probably consider this as something that I could wear to work, but at the moment I'm also saying, you know, Existence is probably one that I could wear to work and wear it as a staple. So you can't have two staples. Well, you can, but I'm probably not going to wear this as much as I imagine that I would, which is the justification that my brain goes through to say buy the bottle because you're going to wear it a lot. And the reality is I don't wear anything that I own a lot because I have too much. So maybe if I can get my hands on a decent sized decant of this, maybe a 15 milliliter or something, yeah, I don't think I can justify the price tag of the full bottle as much as I clearly am enjoying this perfume. All right, so the next one I have a sample of. I've worn it once only, so I'm not that familiar with it yet. This is called, I think it's called Deux by Trudon. It means two, obviously, the number 2, Roman numeral 2. And the day that I put this on, I didn't even know what it was. It was just a sample that came in a package and I just went, oh, it's a Trudon. I'm just gonna put it straight on my skin because I just know that when I put a Trudon perfume on, I'm not gonna hate it. This, I actually really do love, but I don't think I would ever buy a bottle of it. This is so green. It is so green. This is your neighbor's mowing the lawn and you're trimming the hedge and you've just broken off a green branch from a hedge or a tree that you're trimming, and you've got the green sap on your hands and you've got the aromas from the neighbors mowing their lawn in the air as well. And it's extremely fresh and green. It's not sharp though. That's the interesting thing to me about this perfume. It's not piercing, but it's definitely fresh. But it really just smells like you're outside on a warm spring day. Maybe it's getting close to summer, so it feels warm, but you've got all of the aromas from the garden and the gardening that you're doing in your activities in the garden just smacking you in the face. It's great. It's great. I think I would love this as a candle actually, because you know, sometimes, especially in winter, when you just want some freshness in your home, but it's too cold still to, say, open a window, this is what you need to make you feel fresh and clean. But it's lovely. And I honestly, I'm gonna look it up because if I was to try and describe the notes, I'd be saying galbanum and galbanum and galbanum. And maybe some musk or something, I don't know, but it's so green. Yeah, okay, it's woody aromatic. Oh, the perfumer is Lynn Harris. Lynn Harris is the nose behind this. All right, so the notes are green leaves, pine, bitter orange, juniper. Oh yeah, I get the juniper. Cedar, pepper, incense, cashmere, and ambroxan. I would say, I feel like there's more of a muskiness to me as it dries down. Sort of like a green, woody muskiness. That's right. Maybe it's the cashmere and that's giving it that sort of musky aspect. It is very fresh. It is very green. And yes, piney. It doesn't smell like a pine forest though. I still feel like it smells more like cut grass than a forest. But it's lovely. I don't need a full bottle of it though, but what fun. I love it. Okay, we're getting close to the end. All right, so these ones I have not tried yet. I have 3, so this will be my first impressions. I have Ambra Aurea by Profumum Roma, and I have Printemps Blanc by Maison Mataha. This one was a total afterthought. I was purchasing a couple of decants from my local decant person, and they had this one on their website in the new in section. And I think literally around that time on the Facebook groups, a couple of people had been getting really excited about this release. So it must be a new release, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I knew nothing about it, but I just thought I'll throw in a 2 ml sample just to try it. And then I also got a little 2 ml sample of the Fetiche La Rose by Christian Louboutin, because everybody has been losing their minds over this perfume. And in the Facebook groups for a while there, it was all anyone would talk about. Anyway, so it's obviously become available and some people have gotten their nose on it. I am going to put this one on skin because I had heard that you need to wear it on skin. So I'm going to be brave, because I'm smelling it off the strip and I already have a feeling that this is not going to be my favorite thing, but let me put it on skin and see how we go. Taking one for the team being you, that is. Whew. Okay, that is loud. That is very strong. So that was 1 spritz and it's everywhere. Okay. All right. Okay, I guess I can see why everyone's losing their shit over it. I'm going to be really basic here and put it in very plain terms. It smells like a cherry version of Delina with a lot of resins in the base. So it's a lot darker. It's very syrupy, very, very syrupy. You've got this cherry element that almost smells boozy, but also peppery. Anyway, this is not for me at all whatsoever. Fun to try it, but yeah, this is not. In the defense of the perfume, I'm typically not a cherry fan, although there is another perfume that has a cherry blossom in it that I'm really loving at the moment, but this is not my thing at all. So I am not the target demographic for this. So please don't, if you like cherry perfumes, if you like Delina-esque perfumes, then you may enjoy this. It is definitely got Quentin Biche written all over it. I guess I should have known, although he also did Existence and I really like that. So, and Guidance, I also really like Guidance. Anyway, it definitely has his style stamped all over it. I don't know, it's getting kind of better in the dry down. It's still definitely not my thing. I just don't get along with cherry notes, I don't think. So it's not how I imagined. A lot of people had described it as being like kind of boudoir-ish. That's not what I'm getting from this perfume at all whatsoever. When I think of boudoir-ish type perfumes, I think of Pour le Soir by MFK or honeyed dark florals that have a bit of an edge to them. I don't feel like this has an edge to it. It's just syrupy sweet with some pepper in the top, to me. I know I'm oversimplifying that by a lot, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. It's just obviously not my thing, so that's fine. I'm just going to leave it there because I'm going to get myself into trouble if I keep talking. I will say, if you like, I mean, I did not like Tom Ford, the cherry one, whatever that was called. I can't even remember what it was called now. Anything with cherry in it really is usually a miss for me, but occasionally there might be a hit, and this was not it. But again, the way it had been described to me, I thought that it was going to be extremely seductive, you know, have a bit of an edge to it, like a femme fatale kind of edge to it, and I'm just not getting it. I'm not getting that in here at all. There is a darkness to it. There's dark tones, but I'm not getting that element of human skin or anything like that. So, no. All right, that's fine. That's good. That's going to save me a lot of money. Yay. What's next? The next one is Ambra Aurea. Maybe I should have done Fetiche à la Rose last because, is there anything on that? Because it's so strong. I can still smell it. So this is Profumum Roma. Ooh, okay. This I like. This I like a lot. Immediately, a very dry but powdery, almost fluffy, textured amber. That's not too sweet. It's a little bit leathery or suede-like maybe, which might be that sort of fuzziness that I get. I feel like there's maybe something green going through here as well. I feel like I'm getting something almost herbal and dry and dusty in here. It's interesting. It's almost like, I'd have to go back and compare them all side by side, but I'm getting kind of Ombre 114 and Ombre Sultan vibes going in here. So there's the spiciness, the pepperiness, it's a bit smoky, it's kind of leathery, it's very dry. It's got this dry aromatic thread to it, but aromatic in this sort of green, dry, herbal sense, not the lavender, camphorous, cooling, mentholy type of aromatic. Yeah, okay, I like this one. Given that I own Ombre Sultan and I own Ombre 114, do I need this one? Probably not. Is it very good? Yes, it is. Right up my alley. I think I would like to try this again on skin side by side with the others and just do a bit of a comparison. This is very good. I like it a lot. It's incensey, and maybe that's the differentiating factor from the other two. This might lean more in that smoky incense realm compared to the other two that I just mentioned. But I think if you like either of the other two or both, you would probably like this one as well. But I have to question whether having possession of those other two, whether or not I would actually need to add this to the rotation. It's very good. I know we're running out of time. This is getting long. So, so let me finish up with this one. This is Printemps Blanc. Am I saying that right? I'm trying to say it the way I think it would be said, but it's probably completely wrong. I did not Google it. I'm sorry. All right. It's a very musky pink. There's something a little bit almost bitter in the opening, which I can't work out if that's intentional or if it's just something that's not really jiving with me that well. It's very vanillic and citrusy. I think citrusy. It opened with almost a pink feel, and I thought it was going to go in like the peony, pink rose, musky type of direction, but it's getting more, yeah, I feel like I'm getting more citrus, like really sweet vanillic citrus. Almost like the BDK, what's that one? The citrusy vanillic one that I really like. Creme de Cuir, that's it. So I'm getting like, it's not the same compared to that. It's a very different perfume to that. It definitely doesn't have the leathery tone to it for a start. So I'm just getting really sweet citrus. So I think that's, my brain is going, okay, you've smelled something like this before, and this element of it is where that's come from. And I think that's what it is. It's like a vanillic citrus. It's very sweet, candied citrus in the opening, which kind of reminds me a little bit of creme de cuir, but not the same. And I don't know, some kind of floral aspect to it, but mostly I'm just getting vanillic, sugary sweetness with musk and citrus and some generic florals, probably white florals actually, even though when I first smelled it I thought it smelled pink, but maybe that's just remnants of Fetiche à la Rose wafting around me still. Yeah, okay. I have a feeling a lot of people will like this, particularly if you are a big gourmand lover and you like the sweet things. This will probably be favoured, but I don't think it's that exciting, to be honest. I feel like I've smelled stuff like this before and there's not enough other things going on to make it interesting. So creme de cuir I thought was different for me because it is a candied vanillic citrus, but because it has those leathery tones in it, that makes it a bit more interesting, but this lacks that other element of interest for me. But I can see a lot of people liking this one. So it's nice. It's not bad, but it's just, I don't find it particularly engaging for myself personally. Okay, so that's that. All right, well, there you have it. That's like a little sampling session. I'm somewhat regretting my life choices right now. I wish I hadn't been quite so brave. Perhaps if I go do some house cleaning now, do some scrubbing of things, this might wear off a little bit quicker. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's just me. It's just not me. That's all. All right, well, let me know if you have sampled any of the things that I talked about today or tried today. And by all means, feel free to disagree with me in the comments. This is just my opinion, right? And in many cases, my first impression. So things can change. But I am curious to know if anyone, in this community who, obviously if you're in here, you have similar taste to me probably. And I'm curious to know what others feel about existence because I was talking myself out of it and now I feel the resistance to that sort of ebbing away. And, I might be leaning more towards I could definitely justify a bottle of this and would like to wear it more often. I really wish I could buy a smaller bottle because it's just getting so hard for me to justify 100ml bottles of things these days. Honestly, I'm really very conscious of how long it takes me to wear through a bottle of perfume. That's my dad calling, so I better answer that. Thanks so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.